Good afternoon. Oh, wow. Okay. I wasn't expecting that, but thank you very much. I want to thank everybody for coming here today and to everybody who is joining us virtually. I'm really excited to say that we're streaming live right now globally. So we have friends that are currently in Marrakesh. We have friends from Tanzania that are tuned in today, Buenos Aires, and England, as well as the United States from coast to coast, which is really exciting for us. And so I appreciate everybody taking the time to be here today. I know everybody has busy schedules. It's a holiday. There are so many things going on. And the fact that you actually are interested enough in what we're doing is really special to me. And so I appreciate that. So thank you to everybody virtually and in person here today. I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Eric Zerlanka. I'm the CEO and founder of Zerlanka Event Design and Management, and most recently of Curated by Zerlanka, which we're here to talk about today. So I have a 30-year history in luxury hospitality. So I've been doing this for a very long time, although offering what we do to the leisure traveler is something new. And that's why we are starting from scratch and explaining this to people and introducing ourselves to not only you in the room, but those people who are tuning in virtually, who are travel advisors and people who have interests in luxury travel experiences. That is what we're here to talk about today. So I started Zerlanka Event Design and Management. Now we're going into our 15th year, which is hard to believe. It's gone by so quickly, and we've done some amazing things during that time. And over that time, I started the company initially with the intent of finding a creative outlet for myself so that I could take what I have going on in my head and produce it for people to experience. It's almost like inviting people into my world. And what happened is very quickly, I found myself getting these opportunities that I never anticipated. And in my very first year, I was working in Shanghai, I was working in Istanbul, I was working in Marrakesh. And all of a sudden I realized, wow, going to a strange location like that and having to start from scratch and actually find partners and vendors and people to execute what I was trying to do was so thrilling and challenging and interesting that it just drew me in. And it laid out the entire path for my future from that point forward, which is how we got here today. Over that time, we found ourselves getting opportunities to go into the travel incentive world. So you might be asking, some of you, 15 years in the industry and we've never heard of you or Curated or Zerlanka. It's because we were really focused on the corporate clientele. We have a lot of really big name clients that if we shared them, you would know who they are. We're very private about our corporate clients, so we don't, but we have a lot of them and we travel the world with them all the time. They are clients that have been with us in some cases for 8, 9, 10 years in a row. We are producing their incentive travel and they use that to incentivize people to sell their products. So we have a very important relationship with those people and they have become family for us. That brings us to Curated by Zerlanka. And the reason that we decided to do something like this was because we were getting a lot of questions. We found ourselves being asked, how do we go on these trips? When we started to drive up our social media presence over the past year and a half, people were reaching out and saying, wow, we saw this trip that you're doing to Africa. How do we do that? And unfortunately, the answer was always, we primarily only do corporate programs that are private and by invitation only. And then you get that's too bad. So I didn't want to say that anymore. So one day I found myself being asked the question and I said, well, we're thinking about it. And then the next time I was asked it, I said, we're doing it. And the next thing you know, come January of this year, I went to the team back in the office and I was like, we're doing this and we'll figure it out and it's going to be amazing. And here we are and it's going to be amazing. So Curated by Zerlanka, the goal of this is to bring thoughtfully executed travel experiences to the leisure traveler. That is our goal. Our intent is to handle all of the details. We focus on the details. Our guests focus on what brings them joy, right? Travel can be very intimidating to people, especially when it's a strange location or a really big trip. I mean, some of you in here may have done it and you may do it, but it's a lot of work to determine where you're gonna go. Is it safe? Are you gonna be welcomed? What are the experiences that you should do? You don't wanna miss everything, right? We all have that fear of missing out on things. And we don't want to do that. And all of a sudden, something that should be really joyful in planning travel could become somewhat stressful and you're not quite sure what your experience is going to be. We take all of that off your plate. Let us do it all for you. We have traveled the world. We have countless miles. I think last year alone, I flew 8 times around the world when you look at the number of miles I traveled last year. So let us do that for you. We want to make this really easy for you to do and do travel that is essentially bringing your dreams to life and the things that you've always thought of. So Curated by Zerlanco is going to be offering pre-planned packages in addition to personalized experiences. So we're going to plan to move forward after 2025 with 4 pre-planned experiences, and I want you to consider them like bucket list trips. We're not going to be doing things that are easily done you could do on yourself. I mean, we all know we have the resources now online. You could book your own trips and book your own flights and do all the research you want to do on Reddit and all these different things. You could do all that on your own, but we're going to take you to places where it's not so easy, and it would be a lot more work for you to do. So we're going to lay it out for you. So some of those things, and I'll just give you some examples. I'm not going to announce them all now, but for example, in 2026, imagine going to Malaysia. You fly into Singapore, you get on to the Orient Express, and you're spending 3 nights going through the Malaysian jungle having experiences. Then you come back to Singapore, and we put you on a flight, and you go to Thailand, and you experience Thailand for a couple of days, and then we're going to take you from there, and we're going to bring you to Vietnam, and then we're going to return you to Singapore and send you home, and we're going to give you amazing memories and experiences that you're going to have forever. All of those trips that we're planning for next year are going to be 18 people or less, so we're going to keep them to be really intimate groups. We're going to talk a little bit later about one of our first trips that we did, and the result of that was I understood the emotional impact and the relationships that can be built when a small group of people experience something like they've never experienced before. And we want everybody who trusts us enough to go on our trips to have an experience similar to that. These destinations are going to be somewhat unknown. They're places you've heard of, but maybe you don't know a lot about them, and we're going to introduce you to those places. These experiences are also things, as I said, that some people might find overwhelming to plan, but we're going to make it really easy for you. Additionally, our goal is to partner not only directly with the consumer and the people who are interested in travel, but also with travel advisors and their clients to create destinations that are defined by the people's needs and desires, right? So all of a sudden, if a travel agent comes to us and says, hey, we have a client who's looking for this location, the Himalayas, they want to go hike, they want to do this and that, what do you have? If we don't have something that we've experienced in the past, we're prepared to get on a plane and fly out there and figure it out for you. We'll do all the work for you. So we're hoping to be able to customize these experiences specific to locations and dates as well for our customers. As travel advisors and professionals, it is very clear that there are all different types of travelers. And so we've identified who our audience is. So our guests are looking for an immersive cultural experience. They are looking to immerse themselves into the locations to understand the culture. I want them to learn about the history of a location from the people who have experienced it. I want them to be able to go into the kitchens in a local village in the Agafay Desert, for example, and learn how to cook a local delicacy in a village rather than in a big hotel, no offense to the hotels, but a big hotel kitchen or something with professional chefs, learn with the locals and allow yourself to meet people and really get to know them. Our guests are also looking to go beyond tourism and see the world through a local lens. And that's really important to us as well. So we put the time and effort into all of these trips to do that. We want to create memories for people that are both educational and emotionally impactful. We want them to appreciate luxury, because we do work in a very high luxury experience, because you can do that anywhere around the world, as long as you put the thought and the time into it. So we want people to be comfortable. We don't want people to feel like they've just had an amazing experience during the day, but the conditions are uncomfortable or they're just not happy at the end of the day. So it is very much about experiencing luxury and attention to detail as well. More importantly, I think our customer wants options. They want the option to be active explorers or leisure observers, right? You should be able to go on a trip, whether it's a pre-planned group trip or you have an itinerary that you are going to try to stick to, and you should know that if that day you're feeling a little tired and you don't feel like doing something, you don't have to do it. If you want to go back to the hotel and you want to have a spa day instead of hiking to the top of a mountain or going bike riding through Devil's Throat or you name it, you should have the opportunity to do that. This is your journey, this is your life, this is your experience, and we're going to support you in that. We're not going to be looking at the watch going like, we have to leave here in 15 minutes, and you better be on that transfer. We want you to have the experience that you've always dreamed of when you're doing these things. We also believe that they want the option to select a pre-planned itinerary. So it makes it a little bit easier, right? So you say, okay, Eric, we want to go onto the Malaysia trip and we want to go to Vietnam and Thailand with you. But at the same time, we don't want to do this particular part of it on this day. We say, that's fantastic. What are your interests? What is your passion? Let us create something and curate something to you that is very specific to what you want to experience while you're in Vietnam, for example. And we will do that for you. We're not going to hold you and say, we don't make changes. This is the trip and this is what you will do. Don't ask for anything more. We want you to ask. We want you to challenge us. We welcome challenges all the time. There's nothing I love more than anybody that I'm working with that comes to me and says, I want to swim with polar bears and not be eaten. Can you work that out? And I'll be like, I think I can work that out. And anybody on my team will know that on the call, I will say, I can work that out. I will figure that out. I've never been able to figure that out, but I still am working on that, and maybe one day I will. The important thing too is, again, it's personalization. It's getting to know the people we're traveling with. You know, I think we had an internal conversation recently about what was the process when somebody registers for one of our trips and decides that they want to travel with us. And we want to keep it easy. We want to keep it simple, but at the same time, we want to get to know these people as much as we possibly can. So it might seem a little odd if you're registering for one of our trips and we're asking, what is your favorite color? Or what is your favorite non-alcoholic drink or a cocktail? What's your favorite salty snack? Or anything like that. Anything we can get as far as information. That comes from years of being in the hospitality industry where you are conditioned to understand people's expectations and exceed them, right? It's about being seen and it's about being heard, right? And we want to make people feel really special about and recognized when they're on our trips. How is Curated different? We know that there are a lot of other people out there that are doing similar things to us. And it's interesting. I've often said, and I've said this many times in 15 years when people say to me, who are your competitors? And I always say, I don't know who my competitors are. And that's not being egotistical at all. It is just the fact that I trust myself and I have the education and I understand what I need to do in the experience to do it and do it well and not be influenced by what everybody else is doing. And I will tell you that when I started working with Curated by Sri Lanka, I allowed myself to be influenced by what others were doing. And about halfway down that path of creating this, I realized I wasn't being myself at all. So I had to take it back into line. And so what is making us different are things that I feel very strongly about. We want our guests to travel without limitations, right? I mean, how wonderful is that? Like you're opening up your mind to a new part of the world and you're like, I'm gonna go do this and I'm gonna do it and not have preconceived notions of what everything is gonna be like. It's our job as travel advisors and with Curated by Sri Lanka to educate you on what the possibilities are. So as an example, I would say, if you're in Tanzania, for example, and you're doing safari for 7 days, and you sign up for that trip, we're gonna say, hey, while you're there, did you know that we could take you early morning to an airport, put you on a plane, you could fly to the Ngora Crater, spend a day there, see an entirely different ecosystem than you've been experiencing in the Tanzania, see flamingos next to rhinos, and it's a really unusual experience. That day may be a 12 or 14 hour commitment, but you're so close. Why not do that? Would you like to experience that? And you have the option to say no, but we're gonna be there to tell you what is possible when you are in these destinations. We've done this many times all over the world, and we find that people are a little bit, at first they're like, wow, 12 to 14 hour day, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, getting back at 6 or 7, seems a little daunting and overwhelming, but I will tell you this, you will go to bed at the end of the night exhausted, but feeling like you just had a once in a lifetime experience because we put it in front of you and made it an option. And that is what we want to do with Curated by Sri Lanka. In addition to that, we're going to offer, as I said, curated full days. So you might be like, hey, I'm happy to do a 12-hour experience, but I'm not interested in the Ngora Crater. But I am interested in spear throwing, or I want to hike the Serengeti or run in the Serengeti, if you can run in the Serengeti and not get caught by something, but you can do it actually. And we had people do it when we were in the Serengeti. We're happy to support that. We're like, whatever it is, what do you want to do? Let's do it. Yeah, we never say no. So bring on the challenges. One of the other things that I think is going to be a differentiator for us, and I think it's important to consider, again, whether people take advantage of this or not is up to them. But we are going to try to add a social responsibility activity to every single one of our trips. It's an opportunity to give back to a community that you are getting so much from. So again, I'll use Africa as an example. We were in Tanzania, we had a group there, and we said, we're going to give you an opportunity to go to the Robanda School. The Robanda School is probably about 40 minutes away from where we were staying. But the story behind Robanda School is this is a school for children who live there. It is a campus, not what you would imagine as a campus, especially being here in Boston. But it is a campus nonetheless, and these children have gone 3 to 4 hours away from their families to better themselves, to get an education, to improve their lives as well as their families. So when you go there, it's quite different than what you would expect from any campus you've ever experienced here in the United States. But when you realize the appreciation that you even visited that location, or maybe you spend 3 or 4 hours planting a tree or trees, or maybe you help them put some desks together, or maybe you donate a laptop. We even painted the inside of their dining hall a brighter, happier color. And those children were so appreciative. People at the end of the day said, you know what, that was a highlight of that entire trip. Just to be able to do something like that for this community. And you know what, you do it, you feel good about it, and then the next day you're back on a safari out there looking at the elephants and everything is good, right? It's a small amount of time. Again, doesn't have to be done, but we want to make that an option wherever we're going to go. If it's in your itinerary, I can promise you that we have experienced it ourselves. And I think that's really important as well. So every hotel, every restaurant, every activity, every travel element that you are going to experience, we have walked that same path. So we know what the airports are like. We can direct you right down to the smallest detail of when you walk through passport control to the left, up the stairs, on the ramp over, you're going to cross over to the other terminal. And we can get that detailed because we've done it. We document it. I travel with a videographer who's amazing. We're taking notes the entire time, and we can answer any questions you want. So there's no surprises. In addition, we're going to have a dedicated host for every single one of our trips. That person, from the time that you decide you're going to book, even pre-booking, you just have questions about Malaysia and Tanzania. In that case, it'll probably be me that you're talking to. But you can call and ask questions and decide if it's a good fit for you and it's the experience you want. Right? And then, once you're booked, we probably have a full year ahead of us for you to prepare. There are questions about what to wear, what to pack. That's always a big question. But also what you're going to experience, and we're there for you as a resource that entire time. But to take it a step further, we are not going to hand you over to local people to execute this for you. We are going to be there in the destination when you arrive to welcome you. So if you've talked to me 3 times, or anyone on my team who's going to do any of these trips, if you've talked to us 3 times over the past year, and all of a sudden you're going to land somewhere, and you're going to get off the plane, and you're going to see somebody with a curated sign, and you're going to be like, oh, thank goodness, I've been traveling 40 hours, and there's a familiar name and a smile on their face, and they're here to walk me through and VIP me through passport control and everything. All of that anxiety that comes from travel, which is natural, just kind of goes away. And we've got you from there. So you don't have to think about anything from that point forward. That said, we have amazing relationships globally with partners all over the world who we trust 110%. But the fact is, that's a trust and a relationship between us and them. The relationship of trust, if you're booking with us, is between you and me and my team, right? So why would we all of a sudden take that trust and ask you to shift it over to a bunch of people that you've never met or communicated with before? So we're not going to do that. And I think that's a bit unusual for those competitors that I did pay attention to during this. In addition to that, so some added values that we're adding to Curated by Sri Lanka. So every trip will begin with ground transportation from your home to your local airport. So you don't even have to worry about that, right? You're going to book a trip with us, and we're going to say, you're getting picked up at this time. Just have your luggage packed. The car's going to take you to the airport, and that's where your journey starts. And that's how your journey ends. Each trip is going to include travel and medical insurance for your peace of mind, right? People wonder about that. And if anybody thinks you can travel and use your medical insurance that you have here in Tanzania or Malaysia, it doesn't work that way. For international travel, always a VIP experience through passport control. We know from experience that the infrastructures in different countries, it's always different, right? You're not necessarily going there and you're not necessarily thinking about the airport experience, but the fact of the matter is there are places you can go, and I have been, where I look at a line and I know it's 4 hours from this point to that point to the checkpoint. We're gonna avoid all that. So we're gonna make sure that you are greeted when you get off that plane, you're expedited through all of that, and your experience is stress-free from beginning to end. So Curated by Sri Lanka is the result of 30 years of me seeing guests' reactions to certain things. It is about being in the hotels. It is about being on property, and anyone of my team here can tell you that when you stand back and you watch the reaction of people experiencing what you've put so much work into, it is the most gratifying, fulfilling thing you can imagine, almost to a point of selfishness, I would say. But people, who doesn't like to feel heard, right? This is what I want. This is what my expectations are. This is what I want to do. They want to feel heard. They want to feel seen, right? We're observing all the time. You might not know it, but I have a team of people that we all work together, and we're always watching so that we can anticipate what you're going to do next sometimes. It's a little creepy, but we do it. And it makes people feel special. Like, who doesn't want to be in an industry where all we have to do is like give people the travel, like we're giving people their dreams on a plate, basically, and just saying, God, devour it. Just have fun with it. Have a good time, right? So they want to feel special. So that takes me to recent day. And we recently had the opportunity to have the very first ever Curated by Sri Lanka trip to South America. And I had handpicked a group of people who I felt represented the audience that we were going to attract with this particular arm of the brand. And now I would like to share some highlights from that journey with you.
Maybe it's the way the rhythm of a foreign city stirs your soul. Maybe it's the way the cold desert air kisses your lips at 14,000 feet. Maybe it's the way strangers become lifelong friends under unfamiliar skies.
I think the altitude's really starting to get to all of them.
Or maybe it's the way it's all curated for you.
We're going to be talking about this for the rest of our lives.
I could relive this trip over and over and over again.
This will be the best trip of your life.
This isn't just a vacation.
I've never seen anything like it.
It's the art of personalization, the luxury of experience, the journey you didn't know you needed until it was curated.
I'm blown away by the attention to detail and the Curated by Sri Lanka team. It's been incredible.
We began where passion lives in Buenos Aires.
We're boarding the vehicles today. We're going to go to Caminito Street, which is amazing. It's colorful. It's a really special location here in Buenos Aires. And then we're going to go over to Boca Stadium. We're going to the marketplace. Tango lessons. It's a full day.
Buenos Aires is a city of contrasts.
The heartbeat of Argentina echoes in the streets through the rhythm of tango. The cheers of Boca Juniors fans. The stories buried deep.
So we're just like walking around the city, just minding our own business, looking at the vendors. We just saw Evita Perón's grave. We're feeling it. It's beautiful. It's a perfect day. It's like that perfect temperature. And we walk around the corner and there are tango dancers. Not just tango dancers. They're our tango dancers. They're there for us. And then all of a sudden we have like a cocktail and food. And they're like, would you like to dance with the tango dancers? We were like, what is happening?
That's when all of us kind of looked around and realized this trip is going to be something special.
Muchas gracias. Thank you so much. Thank you very
I think that tango thing, I was like, oh, this is a different thing than I was doing. I thought that this was just, we're going on a cool trip. This is like someone really cares and wants to do something amazing for you.
We didn't just visit, we immersed.
Good, you see that? How'd it go? Yeah, buddy.
Every experience curated.
So we're here at Boca Juniors Stadium because you can't come to Caminito Street in the Boca area without visiting this amazing place. We just had a private tour throughout where we got to go through the locker rooms, the back of the house, and then we were on the field.
Hi, it's us again.
Now we've made it to San Telmo, which is the oldest neighborhood in all of Buenos Aires. We're at the marketplace where you can get amazing meats, vegetables, souvenirs, and leather goods.
Careful with the steps.
There we go. Smoking it.
It's gonna come right out.
Oh! That's literally
Look at
You're really on to something with this. First meet of the day.
So we pull up to the Gaucho Ranch. They literally rolled out the red carpet. Every single room in this place looked like it was straight out of a Double RL magazine or a mood board. It was bonkers. We got to explore the grounds. We got to horseback ride. We got to hang out with Samba, the house dog. And then they put on an amazing Gaucho show. That was capped off by the most insane horse whisperer situation. All of us were literally blown away.
Bueno, muchas gracias.
Wow, amazing.
That was the best show I've ever seen in my life. So good, the outfits, the fast. That was so fantastic.
One of the best things I've ever seen in my life.
The best dancers I've ever seen in my life. Of the best dancers I've ever seen in my life.
Gorgeous musicians.
marrying my wife, my kids being born, and that tango show, a close third. That was amazing. 100% the highlight of the trip. Oh.
And then everything changed, from the soul of the city to the stillness of the sand. In the Atacama, time slows down. The earth feels different.
They told me there was going to be a great view on this hike and bike ride, and I really haven't seen it yet.
This is truly spectacular. It was tough getting up. I think some people were short of breath, and we're at 8,000 feet right now, which is unusual for a lot of people, but it was worth it when you get up here.
This is kind of crazy.
What time is it?
I don't care.
Right now it's 27 degrees out. It's pretty cold. We're at the geysers. Tatio geysers.
So we got up bright and early this morning. We just finished a 90-minute drive and we're at the El Tatio geysers, which is the third largest geyser field in the world. We're going to spend some time here and experience the sunrise over this amazing volcanic landscape.
But if they touch the wet spot and it's hot, then they'll
quarantine it off
It's
with
warm.
these rocks because that means joy.
It's unreal. It's kind of hard to take it all in because I've never seen anything like it. It's pretty fascinating.
I think I'm speechless. Yeah, this is magical. It's like walking on the moon a little bit.
That's exactly what it is similar to, which that would feel unreal.
And the number of times that we've knocked on the moon, this is very similar.
Yeah. That feels right.
So now we're having breakfast outside, and it's one of the best breakfasts you'll ever have. Maybe it's because it was prepared so well, but I think it's because we're eating it at 14,000 feet.
Honestly, you come up here and one of the few places I've seen in my entire life where I'm just like, I don't even know what to say. I can't. It's almost like it's too big to even comprehend.
To be part of the very first Explorer Select trip has been unbelievable. It's been a magical trip, incredible journey. We have just been completely immersed in cuisine, culture, thermal, volcanic, active volcanic geysers. It's just a trip of a lifetime.
Every single moment is so well thought out and curated. I'm blown away. If you were to plan this yourself, the relationships that this team has with vendors like Four Seasons give you the most competitive rates across the board. So there's no way I could have done this trip for the same price that you can do this trip with the curated team.
Every detail was planned. I just had to show up, and that's my favorite way to travel. Thank you so much to the curated team.
One more. It's a girl.
I feel completely satisfied, better than expected because of the people and their interactions and the friendships that were made here, which was completely unexpected. And as a result of that, there's a great opportunity potentially for a reunion very soon of this entire group, if they're all available, to help us communicate the differences of Curated, what their experiences were, and I really hope that everybody's going to be able to make it to that opportunity, and we can all get together again within a month. So no surprise, but the reunion took place. So we have had all of our first group of explorers here for the past few days showing them Boston, and I want to introduce you to them and welcome them up to the stage. I'll start with Liam Martin and Jackie Bruno, who are two of the people who came on the program on the trip with us, and they're going to be moderating today's conversation. And then I would like to invite up not only the explorers, but by now very good friends. If you could all come up to the stage for a conversation, that would be great.
Come on up, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Eric. I think trip of a lifetime was the way Susie put it, and I think that is the correct phrase for the experience we all got to have. And while the explorers are filing up, we just want a note to people watching virtually that you can submit questions to us during this, either to Eric or to anyone on the panel if you want to ask Vanessa about her famous TV career, whatever it is. Send your questions to us. There's a little question tab under the video.
USA on this stage.
There's an USA as well.
Yep. It's quite above.
I didn't win that one, but thank you very much. I'm going to hire you for PR for sure.
Thanks for introducing that sore spot for Jackie. But hello, everybody.
Yes.
Hello.
Our family. That's what I think of it as.
It is a family at this point that Eric and his team have helped create as a result of that trip. And so, Eric, I just want to go to you first. You can see that we've all bonded as a result of the experiences you and your team helped curate. What made you put this group of people together?
It took some time, actually, to try to decide how I wanted to put this group of people together. But I think most importantly, what I realized was it needed to be people that I thought would be our audience moving forward. I wanted to find people who had a desire to travel. There were all those things that I described, right? A passion to explore, to connect, to travel the world and see it from a different lens. And so that was part of it. I think then we identified people who were successful in their careers, but also as a result of that had an audience of people that they could share this experience with. And then I think what really sealed the deal with each one of them was just the level of gratefulness that came from the invitation. There were no egos involved. I thought it was a really great group of people to see how they would react. The result of the trip is something that I never could have anticipated. I've never done group travel like this actually myself. I see it, I observe it, but to be part of something like this is something that I wasn't able to anticipate.
Truly is. Well, I'm looking at the internet questions coming in, and one of them is asking, you mentioned a personalized trip. Is that something you could build from scratch for someone, and how many people?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the question. But yes, absolutely. So that is an important piece that I just want to drive home. Although we're doing the 4 bucket lists, trips a year, that's really to inspire inspiration, right? So people might find that to be their perfect fit. If it's not a perfect fit, we are happy to start from scratch. And again, we would put all the same time and effort into every one of these trips, whether it's for a couple of 2 people, or a family of 10, or a group of friends for 20. We are still going to go in advance, vet the experience, if we haven't done it before. If we've done it before and we have the partners and we've done the experience before, we know it well, that's going to be very easy for us to do, but we welcome all opportunities like that.
And it works, and I would highly recommend it. Vanessa, I want to go to you. We had this moment on the trip that kind of, that went viral, where at the end of the trip, you put your head on Tara's shoulder, and you were emotional, you were crying, because the trip was coming to an end, and I later found out that you weren't sure you wanted to come on the trip, that you feel a little bit like an introvert, you weren't sure you wanted to come, and then you had the experience you did.
Yes, I was super nervous to go on this big trip. I'm a new mom, and it was like my first time going on a trip away from him, away from my husband. I was going with my girlfriend, Allie, and I was really nervous about, going to another country away from your child. It seems insane, right? And I was like, who are these people going to be? Are they going to be nice? Who's Eric? What's going on? And then really what it was, Eric actually put up a video a few days before we left where he was saying, I'm so excited about this trip, and I'm kind of nervous. I'm nervous about meeting all these people, and what's group travel going to be like? He was saying everything that was my internal monologue. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're going to be my friend at least. I'll have one person on this trip and then we go on this trip, and it was all the things you think of to do for your kid, they thought of for us. They thought of ways to care for us. And I don't know, we just were able to open our hearts and relax and have these epic experiences. And it was just, I don't know, I like you guys a lot, okay? It was great.
We love you.
Same. It's like you say.
To have these bonds form when you have these incredible experiences and you're witnessing it together. It feels like you're at a special club.
And you feel cared for, as you said, Vanessa. KJ, I want to go to you. You've been dubbed the carry-on queen by GMA. You're a very successful business owner. You've traveled all over the world. I think you said from the time you were 19 or 20, you've been traveling the world. And then you said that this experience stood out from all the rest. So why is that?
Well, I had the pleasure of meeting Eric at a conference almost a year ago, and we immediately, I was taken by him. We were just kind of geeking out over unreasonable hospitality, and I loved. It was this is real luxury, And we were it bugs me when this happened. I can't stand when, and I was but he had this great ability to be, just the highest standards, but also really fun and approachable. I was you're not you can let your hair down and have a good time, Yeah. But I was just okay, I really like this. And then when he reached out and said anything, I was sign me up. I mean, anything, I was I trust him with my life. And I'm the person that is frequently asked for travel recommendations. I'm the person who's I'm picking the hotel because I don't trust you guys. And I was blown away. And I had called Tara and I said, I think you should come with me on this. And she's the same. And I was I promise you, we're both going to be blown away. And it was just every little detail, from, we landed in Buenos Aires early that morning, I didn't even realize how glamorous a VIP customs experience was, but even just things of like your hotel room being ready at 9 a.m, you know, like what a massive difference that makes to enjoying your first day of your trip versus being like, okay, like I'm gonna kind of kill time till 3 p.m. And every single moment was just so well thought out. There were things that were happening daily that I was like, I wouldn't have even thought of that. Yeah. Like the foresight was just incredible. And if there was anything that went, like a flight gets changed or something, like their team they fix it before you even realize something went wrong, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was completely blown away. And it was like every single day the bar was raised. I will only be traveling this way moving forward. I'm like, I have to book my own. Yeah.
Only traveling with Sri Lanka
Correct,
from now
yeah,
on.
exactly.
Curated. Tara, you came along with KJ. You might recognize her. She's a brand ambassador for Chanel. No big deal. You had your very successful fashion and makeup and cosmetics career. And through that, you've had some of these very high-end experiences. What separated Curated for you in terms of the experiences you've had in the past?
Yeah, I have had the opportunity to experience luxury travel, but I think the main difference with this team is really that level of customization. Like I had not met Eric or his fabulous team before landing in South America, and it just felt like they had really done their research, like, you know, creeping. I think it worked because there were these surprise and delight moments that felt really tailored to my vibe. And
my vibe.
Yeah. I think that one of the main takeaways as I was like thinking about this experience was I think the Curated by Sri Lanka difference is you kind of gain access to these experiences that money alone can't buy. You know, so you're living these beautiful, local, authentic moments at that personalized luxury standard. And I think I speak for everybody on this panel when I say that I cannot travel any other way now, Eric. So thank you so much to you and your team. You've truly built something incredible.
I think we all feel that way. Absolutely. Alicia and Spence, dad and mom of the trip.
Hey, buddy.
Hi.
Sorry,
how are you
ladies.
doing? We've talked a lot about how around every corner of this trip there was a different surprise that would pop up, and it was somehow tailored to you in a weird way. What was your favorite, would you say?
You want to go?
Sure, yeah. Well, obviously the itinerary is laid out for us beforehand. We see that a month in advance, so we see that there's going to be all these opportunities for amazing experiences. But we leave Recoleta Cemetery, and you saw it in the video, tango in the park. You know, we didn't see that coming. The very next day, we know we're going to La Boca. We didn't know that Eric's going to bust out custom jerseys for everybody. We're hiking, on one of the last days, and at the end of our hike, you see a beautiful table laid out with tapas and wine serenaded by a guitar, and it's just those moments where you can kind of look around and be like, holy cow, this is absolutely incredible, and it's something that you definitely didn't expect at the end of an already epic time, or at the beginning of an already epic time. So those little personal touches that were so well thought out made you feel extra special.
I told Spence, my husband, at the end of the trip that was the most romantic trip we've ever been on. He did absolutely nothing. So thank you, honey.
Thank you, Eric.
Participating.
Thank you, buddy. I wouldn't say I did absolutely nothing.
You hung out. Appreciate
He
that.
provided entertainment.
No, Eric is full of surprises. It was incredible.
I'm kind of one of those people that it does get a little bit intimidated by planning a trip, especially a trip that you want to have, you don't want to miss a thing. And so having it so well thought out was really allowed us as a couple and as a group just to fully decompress and relax and take it all in. So
Yeah, and I think I can speak for everyone when I say the biggest surprise were the connections and friendships that we are going to take from this trip for a lifetime.
I love that.
And I just want to note, because I feel like this is an audience that will appreciate this, like when we pull up after this hike to this like pop-up cocktail hour in literally the middle of nowhere. I also come from like an event production background. We pull up and I notice that there's like luxury, like the trailer restrooms that they have towed into the desert. And it's like
that one.
when I looked at Donna who was there and I was like, I know that's a premium touch. I know that's like it was just little things like that where I'm like, we're not like they're like, yeah, we brought in
I think it's so
luxury
cool
restaurants.
to piggyback on that. Like what was so cool is like you could be a me traveler who like almost doesn't even want to look at the place I'm going to until the moment I'm going there because I will be too intimidated. Or you can be a KJ traveler who's like, I know exactly what to expect. I know exactly where we're going. I know exactly what shoes to wear. And you can find both of us are thrilled and happy. They thought of truly everything for us.
It's little things like that where you don't even realize what a luxury that is. But when you're in the space and you work in that industry, you're like, no, that's a luxury. Like that's like a beautiful.
And you need a restroom.
Yeah, and now
Absolutely.
absolutely. And now we're all ruined because of it. Because now we can't go anywhere.
Matt and Susie, our other wonderful couple from the trip. You guys have made travel such a part of your lives. You really prioritize it as a couple. What separated this for you guys?
Man, I mean, I think travel's become a love language for Matt and I over the years.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Matt will be the first one to tell you that I am a control freak.
Continue, please.
And when we travel, when I tell you all that I spend countless hours, like just researching, reading everything, TripAdvisor, Instagram, Pinterest, Reddit, you name it. I am reading every single review before I put anything on our itinerary. And so to relinquish that was very weird for me, first of all, as a control freak. But everything was so perfectly thought out. And like everybody keeps saying the level of detail, thoughtfulness is like the first word that pops to my head. And when Spencer mentioned the Boca Juniors jerseys that they surprised us with one day, and the numbers on the jerseys were our birthdays.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I'm like, what? How does he know my birthday?
I thought it was
give
my
him that
age.
information?
I was like 29. Of course, it's my age.
So it was like that sort of thing for someone like me who does so much planning for our vacations, like just to be able to relax and to know that everything, like, oh, they've done this before. Like the Sri Lanka team has been here. They've experienced every single ounce of this trip. And I know it's going to be bomb.
Yeah. I'm a screenwriter, so I'm usually behind a desk and I'm not traveling too much for my work. But Susie, former Miss USA, she was an MTV VJ. She's had this really cool career where she's flown around all over the world. And lucky for me, I get to tag along on a lot of these trips. So so I've experienced a lot of really cool luxury travel with Susie because, she's got MTV planning her entire trip and her itinerary. So we get there and there's somebody there and there's nothing like this. Like, I'll never forget when we got to Argentina and they just ushered us through the entire passport process, and then we just walked into this luxury lounge and we all had like coffee and croissants and like amazing pastries, and I was like, this is insane. And by the way, no one mentioned the fact that at one point there wasn't a convenient plane to take us from Buenos Aires to the Atacama Desert, and so we walk out on the tarmac and there's a private jet sitting there.
Which was billed as a smaller vessel. We'll be taking a smaller aircraft.
And we're expecting a puddle
with
jumper.
limitations on luggage. Yeah.
And you asked if someone had a fear of flying because you would accommodate that if
Yes,
so.
I did. Yeah.
I think it should be the size.
Because it was a
of
14 passenger,
yeah,
small.
It wasn't that small.
I love that.
And it was insane. Every single step of this entire journey was just like flawless. So
truly,
thank you,
Aaron.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Now, Matt, now
Thank
you can expect all these wonderful surprises that Susie can incorporate when
she's
planning
gonna.
your trip.
Yeah, I'll just let her.
The new standard.
Get after it, Susie. I love that. Elena, you travel a ton for your work as well. You've got this keen eye for sights and sounds. Tell me about the idea that there were those two different destinations. How did you like that?
Well, two is better than one all the time. So going to South America, you have to see as much as you possibly can, right? This is a once-in-a-lifetime bucket list experience. So I was really happy that you did book two because in my previous travels, I'm like, we're staying at this place one night and the next place we're somewhere else. I'm like, go, go, go.
Yeah.
But I felt like 3 days was perfect. And each location, we had enough experiences to really be immersed in the culture, to try all of the best foods, to see all of the best sights. And it was amazing. Buenos Aires was beautiful. And I was so glad, though, that you picked a very different location for the second spot because the Atacama Desert is so very opposite of Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires is like New York City. It's big. It's massive. There's Spanish and Italian influences there. But the desert is the desert. And we did so many cool nature activities, lots of adventuring, still amazing food, good cultural experiences, but it was so different. And I think the two paired perfectly together. So thank you so much for being thoughtful and finding the best things that we could possibly do. It was amazing. Amazing.
That's really important for us. I mean, I think that's the thing, right? You're that far anyway. Why not take it a step further and add something else to the trip? You know, so often people are going to say, we're going to go to Buenos Aires and spend a week. And you could exhaust an entire week in Buenos Aires, but it's such a big trip. Like, mix it up a little bit. And what's better than, after 3 days in a destination, the same hotel, you're getting into a routine now to just completely mix it up. And go like, okay, we're gonna hit pause right here and we're going somewhere completely different for the next 4 days. And you're gonna, that excitement of day one is gonna start all over again.
And I think we had participated in so much that we were ready at the end of the trip in Buenos Aires to do something different. Like we had done it all.
Right.
Like you picked all the best stuff for us.
Yeah, at that point we would have been bored.
Yeah. Well, Eric clearly is incredible. So is his team. And I think we want to give away a trip or so, right, Eric?
Yeah.
Let's find out. Who's going on this incredible trip?
So we are actually, the video that you all just watched actually was our South American experience that all of them were just speaking of. And we are going to give away 3 of those. So we are including a drawing. Everybody that's here today during the lunch, as well as all of you that are virtual, have been included into this drawing. And Donna has the bowl. We're gonna select some people here. Woo! Let's go. I'm gonna ask for some help here from our team. Here, I'll come around this way. Vanessa, do you wanna grab a name?
Try it out. I got a Mickey Weil.
Mickey Weil. All right, so I think he's virtual.
Whale? Mickey Weil.
Mickey, if you're watching virtually, congratulations.
Woo!
You're going
Congratulations,
to
Mickey!
Trip of a lifetime.
I think my 8-year-old dropped his name in there. Just
I would have no doubt after meeting her 8-year-old.
Drum
He has big
roll.
taste.
Okay, it's Shannon Felton Spence.
Oh, fantastic. All right.
Congratulations.
That's terrific. Do you have a passport? No. Do you have a passport? Of course. Okay.
Yes.
I'm her new best friend.
Mary Kate Zanata.
Another virtual. So Mary Kate, if you're watching, congratulations. So I'll just go ahead and wrap it up. We probably have run long. I have no idea how we're doing on time. But I can't thank all of you enough. Again, those of you in person, those of you virtually around the world, thank you so much for your interest in Curated by Sri Lanka. And we are available. So feel free to connect with us, whether you're travel advisors or just somebody who has a passion for travel. We would love to help you and bring these ideas to life for you. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric.
Woo! Thank you very much.